in that day was unheard of.
And Bobby had left, I believe it was in 80 or 81, to go join CNN, and then that was when Adele stepped in to fill her role, correct?
That is correct. Now, after Bobby left, I did the news alone for, I think, about 2 years while they were searching for someone to take Bobby's place, and then Adele came in, and then later on we hired Donna Gregory, who was fabulous, and then later on I even worked with Pam Salisbury for my last 2 years before my retirement. But all of those people were top notch, and Jim Goodman, the president of our company, made sure that he found the best possible team that he thought he could put together. And so all of that success really goes back to the management and the management's commitment to putting together the right people and having the equipment available, the latest equipment, the technology available to do a good job of gathering the news.
Now, were you guys ever sort of taking a peek and seeing what WTVD was doing to try to make sure we got to keep our spot #1 in the Raiders in the Raleigh-Durham market?
Yes. In fact, it's not that we took a peek, but they were excellent competitors, especially in the later years. They still are excellent competitors. So yes, these stations pay attention to each other. They don't want to be outdone by the competition. So they watched us and we watched them. They got to be excellent competitors.
And I didn't know this until recently. I was happened to be born the same year that Capital Cities bought ABC, and they made WTVD an ABC owned and operated station. That was when REL and TVD switched affiliates, ABC, CBS, vice versa. So tell me about the year that switch went down.
Well, it was very confusing to the viewer, as you might imagine. We had people calling the station, and actually we had viewers calling the station because they were so confused when the announcement was made. And they were saying things like, well, if we want to see Charlie and his team, do we have to tune to Channel 11? But the business angle behind that, Cap Cities owned the station in Durham. They owned WTVD. And then when they bought the network, they wanted to have that station as a part of their network, and we were the ABC affiliate. So it was decided that we could choose either CBS or NBC for an affiliation. And so the management chose CBS, and we've been CBS ever since. The main confusion came when it was first announced, and we had to put an enormous amount of time into promotions explaining to the viewer that if they wanted to watch us, they didn't have to change channels.
Right. So what was it like for you and everybody else that was a part of the WRL team to go out and about around the community and be recognized like, hey, Charlie, hey, Pam, hey, Bob, what's the weather?
Yes. Yeah, if you do what we do, you really become a part of the family. For regular viewers, you become a part of their family. And so it's not surprising that when you are out in public that people sort of consider you a friend or a kind of a pseudo member of the family. And people are very nice. We'd go to the fair and be over there for people who live in the smaller towns out of town, so that they could see us and have. It was an awful lot of fun to meet all of the people. But that's a part of. We do a very visual thing, and if you're in somebody's home for a half an hour, and if they watch both newscasts for an hour a day, they know you, and they know you on site, and most people, 99 and 44/100% of the people are just very nice. They just want to say hello, and we watch you, and we enjoy you, and so it's a friendly kind of relationship.
And who idea was it for Saturday mornings to come up with original programming? Because I believe that's what sets WRL apart from all the other TV stations in the state. They had original children's programming on Saturday mornings, like Frog Hollow, Sparks, Teenage Frolic, The Andrina Show, and the list goes on and on.
Absolutely. Aren't you too young to remember Teenage Frolics?
Mr. JD Lewis, rest in peace. I had some people that grew up during that time period, and they told me about it. But I remember Sparks and the Andrina Show from when I was little, watching WRL.
Going back to Teenage Frolics, it was incredible. On Saturdays, and this was a live show, teenagers from all around Eastern and Piedmont, North Carolina would be coming in there in activity buses. There would be buses parked all over the station parking lot, and those kids would come in there well-behaved, well-dressed in those days, and they would just have a great time. JD was an excellent host, and it was a phenomenon. I mean, it was a Saturday ritual, and I was over there a few times just to see it and to soak it in and see these kids come in there having fun and being together and meeting each other, you know, and dancing. It was a phenomenon.
And I can't forget Uncle Paul.
Oh, no. No one will ever forget Uncle Paul. These two great men that we're talking about, of course, have now passed on. But Uncle Paul's show was live. The little kids would come in for that. And God bless him. His legend will live on forever.
And now, going from Uncle Paul and the original Saturday morning programming, WRL was also first in a lot of things, you know, Sky 5, and I believe you did a piece overseas in London, which was broadcast via satellite. So tell me about that experience.
Yes, this was in 1984, the 400th anniversary of the first, what was called the Roanoke Voyages. These are the three voyages that were put together by Sir Walter Raleigh. And so we went to England, Plymouth, England, to commemorate the first Roanoke voyage, and we commemorated the second and even the third later on. But it was the first time that I know of a international telecast by satellite by a local station. It was extremely exciting for me. The other thing is, when you do, as you well know, Jarrell, when you're doing something in the way of a documentary or something historical, you personally get to learn an awful lot more about the subject than you ever knew before. So we met all of these wonderful people from England at the station there in Plymouth, and they were the feed station, and our governor came over.